Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Leary. Well, when I showed up today, I thought we had a nice brother-brother combination here to take on our champions. Little did I know it's actually a father-son combination. So that either means Steve looks very old or Harry looks very young. You can decide yourself when they get up here to bowl. Don Richmond and Steve Puopolo, the defending champions. You know what the challengers are looking for. $500 goes to the winning team, $300 to the losers. And then hopefully we can give away some more bonus money if we can put together two strings for a combined total of $300. $50 for 3 marks in a row in any combination, and $1,000 in bonus money should either of our teams put together 3 strikes in a row. So a lot at stake, including the championship. Let's get on with the bowling now. Don Richmond will start it out for the champions. The champs are 2-week champions. They're looking for consecutive win number 3 here. And Harry Renaud from Southbridge. Harry starts it off with a spare. And Don Richmond takes a 10. Don has a new high single now. It's up to 199. We were giving him a tough time earlier. Who am I to give anyone a tough time about bowling scores? But he had a great chance for a 200-plus game, but he had an open box in the 10th. Don is married, works as a calibration technician. Harry Renaud had added 6 onto the spare, so it's a 6-pin lead in the opening frame. 10 for Don Richmond, and Harry Renaud takes an 8. Harry Renaud is the defending Massachusetts State Singles Champion. He finished 3rd in the States 3 years before that. And surprisingly, this is Harry. Harry looking for his second mark, and no. In the gutter and out. It'll be a 9. And Don Richmond has just thrown up 4 straight 10s. So it's a 3-pin lead now with 1 box to go for these guys. And then their partners will step out and finish the opening string, and then we'll swap alleys and bowl string number 2 and then add it up to determine the champion. Don with another 10, so simple as that. Don Richmond steps up there, bowls 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10 for a 50. Harry Renaud throws up a 7 in the 5th frame, so even though the challengers had zipped out to an early 6-pin lead, the champions catch up, and after the first 5, we've got 50 for the challengers, Harry Renaud and Steve Renaud, and 50 for the champs, Don Richmond and Steve Puopolo. Steve Puopolo and Steve Renaud will step up to finish off the opening string when we come back right after this. Okay, here we go with part 2 of the opening string. Steve Puopolo will start it off for the champions. We're dead even, 50 pins apiece. Steve from Brockton, he's married with 1 son, works for Stop and Shop. And Steve Renaud, Harry's son from Southbridge. Steve works as a glass cutter, cutting a number of things from lenses to prisms. His father, Harry, says he's got a few glass paperweights hanging around the house. I wonder where they came from. Nice shot. So the champs bolt into the lead by 5 here in the 6th. Nice shot. Steve Puopolo with a spare. And a spare by Steve Renaud. So we have matching marks in the 7th here. Steve Puopolo adds 6, and Steve Renaud adds them all, maybe no, only 9. So the lead's down to 2. And each bowler with a chance to double up. There's one. Steve Puopolo with 2 marks in a row. And Steve Renaud with another spare. So one more by either of these guys, and we'll be giving away some bonus money, $50 for 3 marks in a row. 84 plus to 86 plus in the 8th. Steve Puopolo adds 9, and Steve Puopolo is going to have the easier spare. 3 in a row, $50 in bonus money for the champs. Steve Renaud is at 90 through 8. Make it 99 through 9. Steve Puopolo on the spare. 7. So Steve Renaud has a chance to close out with a mark. Well, no more bonus money in this string for Steve Puopolo. Steve Renaud right on it for a spare in the 10th. So Steve has a chance to tighten this thing up going into the 2nd and deciding string. A 10 for Steve Puopolo. Good opening string of 122. And Steve takes just 5. But 5 on the spare in the 10th is good enough for an opening string of 114. So we flip-flopped a little bit here in the opening string. The challengers bolt out to an early lead. The champs pull ahead by a bunch, and then the challengers catch up a little bit. So after 1, it's the championship team of Don Richmond and Steve Puopolo at 122. And our challengers, Harry Renaud and Steve Renaud from Southbridge at 114, an 8-pin spread. We'll see if that's enough for the champions when we move on to string number 2 right after this. All right, here we go with string number 2. Harry Renaud will kick it off for us. Harry and his son Steve down by 8 pins going into this. Harry has the 5 and 7 with some wood that may or may not help. We'll find out. Tried to just nick the left side to spin it around into the 5. Didn't quite catch it. Right on at that time for a 10. And Don Richmond for a 10. So no change. Harry's been bowling for 26 years, he says. That's a high single of 204. High triple of 474 and a 128 average. And Harry takes a spare in the second. So Harry Renaud, if he gets a big fill here on the spare, will have a great opportunity to even this thing up. A 9 for Don. So the lead is 7, less however many fall here. 7 minus 6, a 4-pin lead, a 1-pin lead. 7 minus 6 was always the tough one. Don with a spare in the third, so well, this was close for an instant. The champs once more have built the lead back up a little bit. Coming up next week, Scott Williams and Ryan Bierce will team up. That's 8 on the spare. And if Don can play that wood just right, he just may be able to knock off the 7-10 down there. Right down the middle, looks like he'll catch both pieces of wood and take down both pins. Well, he missed it a little bit, but he got a little lucky. Harry with a 9. So the challengers better hustle now. Down by at least 10. Strike on the spare. Good bid, and he gets it. All right, Harry keeps it alive. With a spare in the 5th, but he's opposite that strike in the 5th, and then you also see the 3 marks in a row, so we've given away another $50 in bonus money to the challengers, the champs rather. $100 in bonus money so far for them. Steve Renaud now will try to tighten this up as he works on his dad's spare. And not the kind of shot he wanted. Only 3 out of that. Steve with another opportunity for bonus money here. And he's got it. 4 marks in a row. On the spare. I caught a little bit of a break, but it's still going to be pretty hard to convert that into more bonus money. Oh, but the 7-pin. All right, Steve Puopolo now for another 50. Will it go? Almost. The $50 bill flapping in the breeze down there, lane 29. He takes the 10. And the champ's working on a pretty good string here, 104 to 77 through 7. Right down the chute. Steve Puopolo with a 10, 114 with 2 to go. Here in the opener. Here in the deciding string, rather. Steve Renaud throws a strike up there in the 9th. But even should Steve strike out the rest of the way, it wouldn't be enough. As Steve Puopolo answers with a spare in the 9th, but maybe Steve can come up with some bonus money here anyway. Puopolo finishes up with a 10 and a great second string. 141 for the champion. So after a tight match early on in the opening string, the champs start to pull away towards the end of the first, and then they really pull away with their foot all the way to the floor in the second string. We'll take a look at the totals for our defending champions. An opening string of 122 and a 141 in the second string for a two-string total of 263, which is pretty well up there. And for our challengers, Harry Renaud and Steve Renaud of Southbridge, an opening string of 114 and 111 in the closer, and a 225 total. We'll be back with our now three-time champions, Don Richmond and Steve Puopolo, and our challengers right after this. All right, well, we say goodbye to Harry Renaud and Steve Renaud as Don Richmond and Steve Puopolo win for the third consecutive week. Harry, you're the defending state singles champion. This is your first time on the show.
I didn't show it today, did I?
Yeah, really? We're going to have to check the record books and see if you really... Well, how come it took you so long? You've been bowling for 26 years. It's the first time you come with us.
No, first time I have the luck to make it, really. It's hard to make it, you know. Yeah. I really enjoyed it. Hope to come back.
I was kidding at the opening of the show that I thought you were a brothers act. Instead, it's father-son. You guys get that a lot?
Oh, yeah, quite a bit.
Really? So what is it?
To it, though.
What is it? Does your father look young, or do you look old?
I look young.
He looks young.
Okay, well, don't take so long before you come back and visit us again.
Thanks a lot.
Great. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Harry. Steve, bye-bye.
Guys.
Okay. All right, we give some more money away to Don Richmond and Steve Puopolo. We have the money for winning, of course, and we have some more bonus money for you. You guys bowled pretty well in the second string.
Yeah, finally got it together there, getting a lot of them 10s, and I left an open with the 9, and I guess it got to me. I got a lucky break on a two-pinner there with the ball coming back, rolling into that wood, and taking that out, and then come back with a strike. And I guess it's history after that.
Well, you'll be able to pay for your Christmas bills now, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Good timing, right?
Yeah.
I want to know about this, the new high single you had, a 199. Now, the obvious impulse is to say, why didn't you get a 200? And I just thought that maybe there might have been a problem in the 10th box, was there?
Yeah, there was. I tried to get that pin. I thought I was close, you know, and I kind of strangled that ball, I guess, on the way down there. And then I looked at the sheet, and sure enough, it was 199. I says, well, I'm got that close. Maybe I will get that 200 someday, you know.
Well, the heck with the 200. Let's try to get a 300 next week. We haven't had one. We've had two in the history of the show here. So, you know, you guys have won for 3 in a row. You might as well set some goals for yourself.
I'll settle for 220, 230, anything. I don't care about 300, just to win.
All right, Steve Puopolo and Don Richmond will be back with us again next week. And the competition next week will be Scott Williams and Brian Beers. They'll be teaming up, trying to prevent these guys from winning for the 4th consecutive week. Now, as we say goodbye to you today from Fairway Sports World, we all want to wish you a very happy new year. Bye-bye, everyone.